one-on-one show.
Communion is a special time to remember what Jesus has done for you. At Communion Elements, we offer communion with a difference. From prepackaged Holy Communion cups, altar wine or juice, and wafer, all sealed into a convenient single-serving container. Celebrate Christ's kingdom in a special way with Communion Elements as a church congregation, small group, or family devotion. So, why communion elements? Our plastic containers or cups are high quality and 100% recyclable. Both elements, the wafer and altar grape juice or wine, are easily prepared and served conveniently and all the time. These elements are totally safe, sustainable, and affordable. In faith, let's share the body of Christ by breaking the bread and solidify the Holy Covenant with the blood of Jesus, courtesy of Communion Elements. Order our fresh and hygienically prepared Communion Elements today via our website. You can as well call or WhatsApp us through 0799 988 371. Communion Elements. Communion with a difference.
Hi, Lucida's here with Lucida's accounting firm. Happy New Year, everyone. Are you looking for a place to do your taxes? You undecided? Are you a student, a military, a nonprofit, a business? You undecided on where to get your tax done? Guess what? Lucida Accounting Firm, it's the place to go. We have been in business for well over 20 years. We're located in Marietta, Georgia. You can call us at 770-319-9181. You can also visit us at www.laftaxes.com. Guess what? We do accept walk-in this year. Just call us at 770-319-9181 to come get your tax done right with an experienced professional who makes sure your tax is done accurately. Can't wait to see you in the office.
Pose, pas fait tête chaud. Ou t'as cherché un compagnie sérieux pour faire le taxe pour là, dans des postes touillés, et bien choix par l'autre côté. Lucida Accounting Firm. Nous avons plus que 22 ans d'expérience dans seule location. Porte nous l'ouvrir depuis le fait 9 heures pour arriver 7 heures. Consultation nous gratis. Nous avons pile l'autre service nous bas encore. Nous faisons taxe individuelle. Taxe pour moun qui a business. Nous faisons audit pour assurance taxe. Taxe consultation. Nos affaires taxe, docteur Lucida se mettre causé. Relais pour service taxe pour la Kounia et pour nous éduquer dans le taxe. Pour joindre tout corps dans mes ARS sans manquer yon yota. Téléphone non c'est 770 319 91 81. Adresse nous c'est Atlanta, Georgia.
You're tuned in to the one-on-one show with Dr. Lucida.
Hello, everyone. Hello, fan of One-on-One Story Time. Thank you for being here with us today because, well, what other place for you to be? rather than watching me with a special guest who's coming to share her story. You all know why I created One-on-One. It's to leave a legacy to our younger generation that are coming, because Lucita wasn't Lucita and our guest wasn't our guest. It's a way to educate, elevate, and grow. So please take your time to share the live. Call your friend. Tell them One-on-One story time is here. And we can't wait to have a great time with one of our favorite person in Atlanta, right? She was a host. She's a MC. When she go across the red carpet, she knows how to do it, girls. She knows her thing. And she's not only pretty, she's educated, she's talented, she's smart. She breaks science like nobody ever done before. There's things that she's telling me, I know nothing about them. But on One-on-One, what we don't do, we do not introduce our guests. We allow the guests to come to introduce herself, because guess what? There's always a story. We know that, right? That if you've been watching One-on-One for a long time, type under the live, there's always a story. Now, without further ado, let's welcome our guest, the one and only, our guest. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
I am doing wonderful. I've been waiting for this moment. I've been waiting for my moment on One-on-One, and I'm so happy to be here.
Wow.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for accepting the invitation, because I know I asked you a long time ago. You're a busy woman. You have a lot going on. And when you said yes, I couldn't be more happy. Thank you for being here.
Yes, I'm excited to be with your fans. I'm excited to be with the people who religiously watch this show
Yes.
every single week.
Yes.
And now it's me. It's my turn.
It's your turn.
Yes.
Well, we want to say hello to a few people that coming in right now.
Mm-hmm.
We want to say hello, Manushka, hello, Christie, hello, Scoba, hello, Bertos. I don't want to keep naming names because I don't want you guys to be upset because I forget somebody's name.
That's what you want?
We don't want that. But again, welcome to One-on-One. What is your name? Who are you?
Oh, my God. This is a heavy question for me these days, and I'll tell you why.
Oh.
So my name is Christie Guillaume, and I am in the process of redefining myself. So when you ask me who I am, it's very difficult for me to tell you, because I am in the process of redefining who I am.
And I know you're deep. I know you're a deep person. We're not going to go. Let's give the people a little bit. Let's wheel them in. Come on. It's a conversation. You can't come so loaded on my guest like that, right? Let's peel.
Okay.
Yes.
My name is Christie Guillaume.
How do you pronounce? Is there a special way you like people to pronounce
Christie.
it?
I really like when people call me Christie.
The whole thing.
Not Anne Christie.
Uh-huh.
Like Christie.
Christie.
It's
facile.
Or for my friends, they call me Titi. A lot of my
Titi.
friends call me Titi. Some
okay.
of my friends call me Ace.
Only
or
on One-on-One.
AC.
Meet Titi today.
Titi.
So I don't know if I'm going to be talking to Titi or if I'm going to talk to Anne.
I mean, we've been going through so much. I think you can call me Titi
I can
now.
call you Titi.
We went through a lot.
Well, life, when you meet somebody, you never know what relationship you're going to form with that person. Mm-hmm. It's in due time. Mm-hmm. And as we each other getting to know each other, we kind of figure out, okay, this is good. This is that.
Yeah.
So, Christie, is there a story? Is your mom Christie? Tell me.
Oh my God, I could, I'm long-winded, so we're gonna peel the onion piece by piece.
That's why I'm here.
Okay.
That's why I'm here.
So my name is Christie, but really it's because my grandmother's name was Christiane. Christiane. So they called me Christie, the reverse of her name. But we still have the same temperament. We have the same way of being. I inherited all her qualities and all her bad traits.
Her zest. Wow.
So I have that. So that's where my name came about, is Christiane and Christie.
Look at that. And One-on-One, no one would know that.
No.
We just saw Christie. We didn't know that there's a story behind it. And I tell people there's always a story.
Yeah.
So you when you look at yourself, do you feel like you are, because you know some people believe in reincarnation and all this stuff. Do you feel like you are your grandmother in a way? Because you say you have your own temperament. And your family, do people refer to you?
Oh yes, oh yes. Like I'm totally my auntie's daughter, not my mom's daughter. My mom is very poised and very elegant and very calm. I'm not that person. Right?
You can be. I can see it.
I can be, but my nervous system is wired differently.
Okay.
So I'm more of an excited and,
yes,
person.
Let's go for it.
Yeah. So I'm more related to, I would say that I have the temperament of my auntie. And her daughter is similar to my mom.
It's always like that.
Reverse, right? Reverse. And she's my godmother and my mom is her godmother. So we have that going, right?
Wow.
So that's kind of where the name came from. And I was born and raised in Haiti. Spent the first 17 years of my life in Haiti. If I could describe myself, I would say that I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. But then I had to become master of certain things, and we'll talk about it in a little bit. But growing up, I felt like a lot of life was easy for me. And I'll say why. Not that I had an easy life, but I was able to identify my strengths very quickly growing up, right? For instance, I was really good at school, and I love school, and I'm a geek. So I love school. I love homework. What you laughing? You smiling at me?
Before we go into the gig, right? So tell me about your life in Haiti. You say you grew up in Haiti. Where in Haiti? Let's talk about the younger Anne.
Okay, all
the
right.
younger version of you when you were growing up. Where did you grow up? How was life there?
Oh my God,
Let's stay there
that's a
for a
therapy
minute.
session. I'm having some goosebumps right now. Okay, I was trying to accelerate. Well, I was the girl who was very. Okay, I didn't play with balls. I didn't play with team sports. I was that girl. I was more into books. I was always reading a book. Either I was doing homework that I gave to myself, or I was reading. So I was not very physical in terms of physical activities. And I still am not. Like I still don't know how to catch a ball and things like that. I also would say growing up in Haiti, I was the girl who would sit and have all my cousins and friends sitting around me and telling them stories. I'm a storyteller. So they would come and have me create stories for them about themselves so they could see what was possible for themselves and for their lives. I would have my cousin who's in love with a boy, and she would say, oh my God, I'm in love with this boy. Tell me a story about my life and him. What would that look like? And I would make up these beautiful stories. You're going to go out, you're going to meet him. This is going to happen. It would be such an experience that at the time I thought was not as important as I believe it to be now, because this is truly who I am. So I was that girl.
Well, that girl. What can you remember? At what age you started seeing that little girl? Tell us about
that's
you,
so
your
good.
past.
Okay. So I grew up. So I was born. How deep can I go?
Very. This is all about you.
Okay.
I'm only here to sit and listen.
I'm not trying to offend anyone or my family members if they're watching, but let's be real, because I think it's important for people to have the habit of sharing what is real and not what's the fakeness of how good I look and things like that. So when I was born a preemie.
Oh.
I think my nervous system was supercharged because I was always crying. So I was that baby that it was hard to love in a way.
Especially in Haiti.
In Haiti. My mom loved me, which is really what carried me. My mom and I, this skirt that I'm wearing is her skirt that I'm wearing.
That's a beautiful skirt.
In honor of her.
Wow.
Because I wanted to, she would be so proud of me today being here.
Sorry for your loss.
Yes. But, I had the best mom and I had the best life with her. So my mom really, really loved me, but I would say that the first few years, people thought I was a difficult child because if I wasn't with my mom, I was not settled. So my mom couldn't go to work. It was really hard the first few years. My mom and my dad broke up because it was not a healthy relationship for her. As women, we know, if I'm saying that, we can have a sense of what that is. So it was definitely not a healthy relationship. And then she met my stepdad. I mean, they already knew each other. And then with that, I had a new family. So my brother and I met, merged with their family. They had 6 other kids. So now we had a big family, big house, big life.
And what are the ages there?
So when my mom and my stepdad got together, I was 4.
Oh, wow.
My little sister was 3. My new little sister was 3. So I had
a
sister.
You had a best friend.
Yes. Well, not really, because I was too cool for her. So I was sure she was just following me around. But now we're best friends.
Okay.
We're best friends.
It's your story.
Yes. And then I had another brother who was close in age with my older brother. So we were all 4 of us together. The other 4 that my stepdad had were older than us.
Okay.
So there was a separation. So it was a life where my stepdad was a military guy, was a colonel in the Papa Doc and Baby Doc. Mm-hmm. So he was a military guy.
We know what that means in Haiti.
Exactly.
Respect.
Really well known, really well respected in the country. Mm-hmm. So that helped us, right, have a easier life in Haiti because we were well off in that sense. We went to the best schools, had access to a lot of things. So the first school that we went, my stepdad was my mom, who was the traditional one. She said, well, I want my daughter to go to Marianne, which is an all-girls school, Collège Marianne. I spent exactly 3 hours at that school, and my stepdad pulled me out. He says, no kid of mine is going to go to a nun school.
I see where we have the connection.
Yes.
I went there for a few days. School. And Collège Marianne with the remember I was saying that last week. It was the gray and yellow uniform. Yeah. And whenever you go to that school, you interessant.
Oh yes.
You know, so I never knew that you went there.
I went to 2 of those schools.
Okay.
And every time my mom tried to put me in it, my stepdad would be like, nope, we're not doing that because they're hypocrites, blah blah. He had a
whole different.
Yeah. But it was good for me because I'm not the person who can just be around just girls or boys. Like I needed the world.
Okay.
And so we ended up going to like a kind of posh school in Pétionville. It was good. It was a new school, modern school. And and every year, right, we would go to Miami for vacation or New York for vacation, that life. And my stepdad was like, you guys are a little bit princessy and kingy to me. That's not good. We're going to go to a traditional Haitian school and we're stopping those travels.
Interesting.
All our travel is going to be inside of the country.
And what age was that?
So I was about maybe 10 at that time, 11. When he says no more Miami every summer or And because of that, I know every corner of Haiti. We traveled everywhere. We went to every little book. You know, we had to walk 3, 4, 5 hours. Plus, my mom is a civil engineer. So my mom would build houses. So further along in my teen years, she was building schools in those impoverished areas around Haiti. So I would go with her. I had this desire now to love and learn Haiti. So I feel like because of that, I had a really well-rounded education because I know my country. I know my people.
Good.
And I know how to connect with anyone, not just people who were part of my social class, but anyone. And I was able to really, and he moved us away from that school that we were in. And I went to Centre d'études secondaires, which is one of the hardest schools in Haiti at that time.
Where is that school?
In La Ville.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Centre d'études secondaires was built by, and this man was like a father to me, the director of that school. They went to, in French, they went to Sorbonne to learn and to come and create that school. So it's really high level.
Okay.
These guys had, doctorates and they were really scholars. They were really scholars. That's how I learned to write Creole. The guy who taught me Creole, which is Pradel Pompilus, he wrote the grammar, the Haitian grammar, the Creole grammar. So I had the opportunity to connect with real, authentic people in Haiti. And I also had the opportunity to live that kind of like that modern life as well. So I was able to see the contrast. And that really, really shaped who I was.
And that's the best education, right?
Yes.
Because it's hands-on.
Yes.
You get to experience it by traveling the country. And then you get to go to school and getting the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Because you're able to put reality with the lifestyle that you were having.
Exactly.
So it gives you this appreciation for the country. And that's why the person that you are, because I always said to myself, why do we have Haiti, although we left Haiti so young, right? Why Haiti is still in us? I think it's the lifestyle that they were able to emerge us in. That's why we have the love for that country.
Yes.
So you travel everywhere. What was the best place to travel to Haiti if you had to pick one?
Oh my God, I already know. I remember. I remember vividly. It was in the north. It's a place called Auborgne.
Auborgne.
Borgne. Borgne.
Auborgne.
Borgne. Borgne.
Okay, see?
But
there's a Haitian
Creole, but they call it boy. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Right?
But okay, oh bon.
It's in the north of Haiti.
So is that the French part? Oh bon?
No, I mean, Haiti is fully French, if you want to call it like that.
No,
right?
but there's some French, right? There's
Yeah,
some French and there's some Creole.
Yeah. I'm sure Auborgne, this is a totally French name. So I don't even know how these people connect with that name, but that's their name, Auborgne. But what I loved about this place, there's two prominent things in this city. Mangoes and Bezig. If somebody knows me, they know I love playing Bezig, which is a Haitian card. Well,
yes,
that's a Haitian card game.
Yes.
It's actually a Belgium card game.
Oh, really?
That Haiti, it's French, Belgium, French, so France, and then we kind of imported that game. So I learned to play because,
See,
as
only on one-on-one. I didn't even know this.
As a girl, well-educated, I had to learn how to play dominoes, and I learned how to play Bezig. Because when all these generals and people like that come into the house, I have to learn, I have to play, I have to entertain them. We have to... So Aubonne in Haiti, in the north, every little house, I remember the shock I had. I saw a bunch of little tiny houses, small tables in front of them. Tiny, small tables in front, 2 chairs, and Bezig. Every single house had a Bezig set in front of it. And then there was mangoes everywhere. I said, oh my God, paradise.
Heaven.
That's paradise for me. Mangoes is one of my favorite fruits. And Bezig is one of my... So for me, being in that place was paradise. And I said to my mom, how long we staying? Oh no, it's only one night. I said, I want to spend time here, wake up here and spend the time, because I understood what they were doing. Eating mangoes, playing cards. That's
the life.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? So that was my favorite place.
Have you been back to Aubonne?
I have not. And it's a place that I would absolutely love. So growing up, getting further into my, my adulthood, teenage years, my mom is from the South. So we would go more into the
When
South.
you say South, I don't know what that is. I'm sorry.
The South meaning Aken. So my mom is from Aken, which is next to Okai. Okay. So we would go more into Okai, Aken, Port Salut.
Gelée. So you know the parties when Okai is where they do gelée, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I know about Okai.
Yeah. So all of this is is the South. And you have also I can't remember that other place. Not necessarily Jérémy, which is a little bit further on the other side, but more so the south and the south west, I would say. So we have a lot of land there. My family, my grandfather is a notary there, a very well-known notary. So we have a lot of land and we have a lot of stuff. So we ended up spending a lot more time in the north, this southern part of Haiti. My father and my stepfather were from the north. So earlier in our lives, we would go to the north, but, we ended up going more into the south. But now with the airport, right, like I could technically go to the north and go reconnect and visit, but I have not had the chance yet.
So what is your favorite, besides Aubonne, what is your favorite moment in Haiti if you had to remember your younger self, if you had to go back to you as being your younger you?
I mean, so many things. The food. Okay, I'm a foodie. I love food. I get excited too much by food. So the food, because for us family, that's what my grandmother did. So my grandmother was living by herself. So in Haiti, we lived in Kinskoff, right? Route de Kinskoff. Our community, our neighborhood was just a family neighborhood. All the houses that were in our gated community were family and friends, people we knew. We were about maybe 10 houses, not more than that. And so my grandmother had a house there by herself. But my grandmother, somehow, I remember I had a group of friends. We were about 14 guys and 2 girls. That was the group, okay? No, 11 guys. 11 guys, 3 girls. That was the group.
Interesting.
And so they would come and visit during the weekends and hang out and play Bezig, because at least boys play Bezig. And so we would go to my grandmother's house. And somehow she has food for everyone. A single person living always makes sure that there's food for everyone. So food is a really, really big aspect of myself and growing up. So it's not just eating the food, is what it represents and how it brings people together. And I do that here as well in Atlanta. My house is a house that right now, if you go to inside of my fridge today, you're going to find at least three different meals that you can make.
Wow.
Because I have that in case somebody comes and wants to eat. The father of my son.
So do you know how to cook?
Oh, yeah.
So you're a great cook?
Yes.
Wow.
I love my food.
I'm like, is it time to come visit? Because I love food.
Yeah.
So I didn't know you know how to cook.
I know how to cook and I enjoy it. When I'm stressed out, I cook. When I'm angry, I cook, but it doesn't really turn out always well. Always too much salt or something.
Because you put it, your anger,
my anger
into
in
the food.
But yeah, that's one thing that I absolutely enjoy doing is cooking, feeding people, and just spending time around food. So that would be for me the best moments. I remember, for instance, I went to college in Canada, and we'll get to that. But when I would come back and visit, it was a whole thing. They would kill a whole goat for me.
Yes.
And Christie, let's kill the goat. Let's make the soup. Let's do the akra. Let's
the
do
head.
And my avocado's already there. My pimo's already there. So it was a lot of food that kept us together. And then music. And then rum. Okay? Babaku rum. Yes.
Now, I'm going back a little.
Right?
Because your father was a colonel, right? That's what they said?
My stepdad. My father is a doctor. Okay. He's a surgeon.
So you're still in both of their lives?
Well, no. So my stepfather passed away exactly 6 months after my mom passed away. Oh. And they were not even together, but they still had this great connection. And so they both passed away the same year. Can you imagine that? So that was really hard for me.
Yes.
And I think around that time of my life, I lost 5 people.
Oh, no.
In a span of about 2.5 years. And they all died on the same date.
Oh.
The 24th. My mom, January 24th. My stepdad, July 24th. My uncle, August 24th. My grandmother, June 24th. It's like a bunch of
24.
But I knew something was happening. I knew that the universe was at play, and I needed to just submit and learn the lesson. And I did. But my father now, he's alive. He's still alive. He's a surgeon. He's still in Haiti. Nobody was going to make him leave Haiti. And so, yes, we still have a rapport. He sends me daily prayers, morning and night. And
so you're daddy's girl.
Yeah, we love each other. So we ended up loving each other.
Looking at Anne Christie today, what would you tell the younger Anne Christie?
Oh, that fear is part of life, that you will never be able to get rid of fear. So you have to know how to compose with fear. And I'm saying this because as I was growing up, things were so easy for me because of the way my family set up my life, but also because at school I was good at everything. So I had this ease, and people see that in me. I'm always easy and fun and right. It's natural in me, but it doesn't mean I'm not struggling. Because I do have struggles like anyone. And I think for me, when I discovered fear and failure, because I never failed, that was a big deal. I had to learn failure and learn that you can be fearful, because I'm always fearless. I didn't think anything could happen to me. I was completely, even now, people would perceive me as, she how do you say that in English? Eslapet, she's
conceited.
Conceited. She believes in herself. She's arrogant.
Confidence.
But it's the overly confident in the love of life. I was just excited about life and about my life. But when I discovered fear and failure, that destroyed me. So if I would say something to my younger self, is that fear and failure does not mean that you're not as good as you think you are. It's really part of life. And we have to learn to overcome those earthly limitations so we can become a true version of ourselves. So that's what I would say.
We're still in Haiti. Is there anybody special to you that you would look at the camera and say something special to them?
Alive or dead? I mean, my mom, my mom was the best mother that anybody could have. I knew I was lucky even having her. And I knew that because my friends also took her as their mom. Everybody had a personal relationship with my mom. All my ex-boyfriends had a personal relationship with my mom beyond.
Girl, you're talking about Mademoiselle right now,
Beyond. I'm coming to my house and I see an ex talking to my mom and I'm like, we broke up 2 years ago. Why are you here?
Look, my ex would go sleep with my mom in my house.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, what are you doing here? I'm not here for you. My girlfriend, I would stop talking to them.
Because
they will go downstairs and talking to my mother. I'm not here for you. I'm here for my mom. My best friend just said that to me the other day. She said, the thing, Lucida, I can't believe I had a relationship with your mom. I didn't even have that relationship with my own mother. Because my mom made it easy.
She made it easy. She was accessible.
And she
was
did not judge.
Generous. And
oh, my God. She did not judge.
Exactly. That was a big deal.
Oh, my God.
I think that's the characteristics of people like her. And fast forward, I became like that. I'm I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of people that come to me because I truly make people feel good about themselves.
You don't make people feel good about themselves.
I accept them.
You accept everybody,
So
and you meet them where they are. Because, you and I, and that's one thing that I admire about you. You listen. You listen. You're just there. As a vessel of information.
Yeah.
And if we listen, we can learn a lot from the information that you have to share. How many of us listening? Maybe not all of us, but you have that. I don't know if it's the background of being a mathematician. It's you know how to compartmentalize each person.
Yes, that's true. Because when I'm with someone, I'm very, very present. If I'm talking to you, that's why you and I sometimes it's like 3 hours on the phone, right? Because when I'm with someone, I'm really there with you. But then when I'm not there, you will feel it too. Because I'm just not there. I completely move my energy away from you. So yeah, if I would say something to someone, it would be my mom, and how grateful I am that she was in my life. And she still is. Look at this skirt.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
She still is. And you know the way I look right now?
It's
I
her,
look
right?
like her.
So tell us something. Tell her, look at the camera. If we're no longer here in this world and somebody's listening to this, what do you want this space to be remembered? Your son. Because remember, we're leaving a legacy.
We're leaving a legacy.
To our younger generations.
Yeah.
Because I want my kids, when they're looking at these tapes, because even though they don't want to watch them now, but I know one day if I'm no longer there, they're like, oh, mommy at 47, this is what she was talking about.
Yeah.
So we want to keep this as timestamp, right?
I see.
So what would you tell your mother? So when your son is watching this, she knows how loved
I would tell my mom that she was right. She was so right.
In so many levels.
So many levels, from relationships to career to allowing me to be. Thank you for allowing me to be whoever I wanted to be. She's the only person in my life that allowed me to be. I had, in Haiti, it's difficult because there's so much pressure of people wanting you to be a certain way.
Doctor, lawyer, or that girl
my
that
mom
sits
allowed
there.
me to be whoever I wanted to be. So she gave me the first taste of freedom.
Nice.
And of becoming myself. She kept on being an inspiration for the world because I saw how people saw her. So she was not just doing this for me. This is who she was in the world. And I was lucky to have a mom like this.
Oh.
I have friends. I had a friend from Montreal. I was talking to her the other day. She says, oh my God, Titi, like, I had a dream about your mom, right? I remember the last time we spoke. I remember she came to my dreams and talked to me.
and
my friends
and I get selfish. And I'm like, she didn't come to me.
My mom would come and visit me in Montreal, and I would come into my apartment quickly. I don't tell my friends nothing. And I see all of them there talking to my mom. And like, this is my time. So that was kind of the relationship. I'm just so grateful. I just want to say thank you. Thank you. Because a lot of people, as I was growing up, I recognized not everybody had that relationship with their mothers. And I didn't understand that it was possible. It took me a long time to accept that mothers were not all like my mother. That's what I would
May they rest in peace, right?
Yes.
Right, because they're a beautiful woman. They're probably smiling at us right now.
Yeah.
Because especially me, my mother's like, what are you doing with a mic? You always scared. But look at this today. And every time I pick up a mic, guess what? I'm doing it for her.
Did your mom say find a real job? Did she tell you?
Yes. Yes. She always tell me to.
Because
that's why.
That was because she was fearful. She wanted to make sure you were going to be okay.
Yes. So every time I'm doing this, I know she's with me.
Yeah.
Because that's something she would have never allowed me to do. So I'm like, you should have been here.
Yeah, so she would have been so proud.
Should have been so proud. I'm so thankful. Now we have more talk. We have more chat that we're gonna go to.
Okay.
So we're gonna take a break and we'll be right back. Thank you.
Tuned in to the one-on-one show with Dr. Lucita.
Communion is a special time to remember what Jesus has done for you. At Communion Elements, we offer communion with a difference. From prepackaged Holy Communion cups, water, wine or juice, and wafer, all sealed into a convenient single-serving container. Celebrate Christ's kingdom in a special way with Communion Elements as a church congregation, small group, or family devotion. So, why communion elements? Our plastic containers or cups are high quality and 100% recyclable.
Pose, pas fait être chaud. Ou t'as cherché un compagnie sérieux. C'est tout hier, et bien choix par l'autre côté. Lucita Accounting Firm. Nous avons plus que 22 ans d'expérience dans seule location. Porte nous l'ouvrir depuis le fait 9h pour arriver 7h. Consultation nous gratis. Nous avons pilote service nous bas encore. Nous faisons taxes individuelles. Taxes pour moun qui gagne business. Nous faisons audit pour assurance taxe. Taxes consultation. Nos affaires taxes. Docteur Lucita c'est mettre causé. Relais pour service taxe par la Kounia et pour éduquer dans taxe pour joindre tout corps dans mes ARS sans manquer yon yota. Téléphone non c'est 770 319 91 81. Adresse nous c'est Atlanta, Georgia.
His hair is looking good.
We are back, guys. Thank you for being with us. We just got a little bit of Anne Christie. We just heard her background, her past in Haiti. And I feel like a kid in a candy store because her and I, we have conversation, but I feel like I'm learning so much about her, and she has so much more to share with us. So Anne, it's your day. Tell us a little bit about you when you were leaving Haiti.
So let's leave Haiti now, right?
Let's
so now Anne Christie is great at school. I'm doing good at everything, and I decided to go for the SAT. I think I was maybe 14. And I aced that thing. I was like, oh my God. So as soon as I aced the SAT, that's what opened the doors for me. I had a ton of universities in the US that are starting to send me applications. And I was like, oh my God, that was such a great validation moment. And that's when I felt like I can do this if this is so easy. But I ended up going to Montreal because that's where I had a lot of my friends, and I kind of had a network there. And the pricing is always better in Montreal than in the US in terms of schooling, right? Okay. So... But one thing that I want to point out, when I left, first of all, I graduated at 16, I think, 16.
So that's philo in Haiti.
Yeah,
right?
philo.
Okay.
And I went to university at that age. And I went by myself. My mom and I traveled there. My mom spent 1 week with me and left me. I was by myself for the first time in my life and having to be responsible for myself. Please understand, at that time, I didn't know how to cook. I tried to make a chicken. That thing turned out raw. Okay. But one thing that really got me at that time was when I got on there. First of all, I'm a very independent person. So I took my applications. I completed all the forms. My mom knew nothing. I was going to the Embassy of Canada, getting my papers done. I did all my immigration stuff by myself. Not that my mom couldn't help me, but she was looking at me in awe and admiration of me just doing this thing. She
said,
"Girl,
how to do.
You can do anything." At that age, I would take my little car, drive down to Balaville, Badelma, get my papers, do this, do that. But when I got into this airplane, something tragic happened. I think my soul stayed in Haiti. As much as I was excited to leave, I was like, "Oh, I'm gone, guys. I mean, I have no friends. I'm gone." But my soul stayed in Haiti. And that's when I discovered depression. I started being depressed, and my depression lasted. So I went to Canada in 2000. I graduated in 99, right? 2000. From 2000 to 2000, and I would say all the way up to 2012 when my mom passed. My depression was creeping and destroying my life. But I didn't know what depression was. I was the girl who was always happy. Things are easy for her. So I got confronted with so many different things. Fear, failure. Well, the good thing, at that point, I didn't know failure because I came to university. I started with a bachelor's in econ. Why? I didn't know what econ was. I had no idea. I'd never done an econ class, simply because my uncle told me that's what you should do. When he says, what do you want to do? I said, I want to do communications. He says, what? Don't you see all the journalists dying for food? Like, why are you trying to be a journalist for? So he really completely put it into like a, okay, journalist, you're going to be poor. It's not going to work. You need to work at a bank just like me. I said, okay, that looks good. They always look good for me. I was like, outfit's important. So I'm like, oh, they look good. I'm going to walk into a bank. So I had this thing. I'm just going to walk into a corporate office with my nice little attaché case, my suit. So I was really in that mindset of fantasy world. I went for econ. I came into a country I didn't know, 3 weeks, because my papers were not ready. So I came 3 weeks, school had already started, a whole new system. I'm 17, I know nothing. I was acing all my classes. I said, okay, no, that's not going to be good. No. Life cannot be so easy. But that was one of the mistakes I made. Guys, it is okay for life to be easy. It is okay. You don't have to struggle. You don't have to struggle for a job. You don't have to struggle in a relationship and be unhappy and think you have to suffer to be in it. No, I'm not saying that we cannot go through hard moments. But the concept of being, I remember when my good friends, she's right there listening to us.
Which one? Tell us.
Joe.
On one-on-one.
Joe.
We don't want you to lose your train of thought.
Okay, Joe said
Look at the camera. Tell Joe something very nice, very important.
Joe told me I was in a relationship and I was suffering naturally. I was like, oh, that's normal to suffer. She says, but Titi, you know you don't have to suffer. The relationship doesn't need to be so hard. But I've learned somehow that I had to strive and struggle for things to be valuable. I did not appreciate easy things because my life was so easy up to that point. So what did I do? After econ, I said, okay, the only subject I was terrible at school was math. I said, I'm going to go for math. That's exactly what I picked. So I combined my major. So I had an econ and math because I wanted to, somehow I wanted to fail. I'm not sure if it was a challenge or the failure. I'm not sure. And I went for math and econ. Now I started struggling. I had this refusal of accepting easy things. I somehow thought that I needed to suffer for things to make sense. And that's why, this is the only reason why I went into math. And after I did my math, I graduated in 3 years. I was like, okay, now I'm 20. What am I going to do with my life at 20? I graduated. Let me go for something even harder. Let me become an actuary, which is pure math. So for the next 7 years of my life.
And a lot of people don't know what actuary. Can you please?
Yeah. So an actuary is a risk specialist. So we use statistics, math, we use statistics and probabilities to solve business problems. So we create models we create statistical and probabilistic models to solve problems. Like one of the things we do is all the mortality tables. Okay, maybe that's a little bit hard for someone to understand. I would say insurance products. An actuary creates an insurance product. The best example, Jennifer Lopez has an insurance product on her butt. There was a time when she had that. Or Serena Williams, she had an insurance product for her arm, because these are their tools for work. How do you price a product like this? And so we had to assess the risk of that and price it accordingly. So if you want to think about one of the biggest risks is mortality risks. So that's why we do pension plans. That's why we do life insurance, right?
But it's later on, you knowing what math is for.
Yeah, me, I didn't know.
Let's get back you.
I didn't know. Me, it was just, the only reason why I wanted to be an actuary is because I thought it was cool. I saw other people say, because, there was this thing where back in the days, actuaries had that on their passport. So you almost like were a diplomat.
Oh, wow.
So me, I was looking for social.
Status.
Yes.
This is where I belong.
Let me be an actuary for that. Wrong reason to do anything, by the way. Okay. But by making that choice, so many things happened because it forced my personality to acquire skills that would have been so hard otherwise. I'm good at communicating. I could have stayed in communication, be a great communicator, but not develop those technical skills that now allow me to solve social problems, because now I have skills to manage risks.
You can create a model whenever things are not.
And I've done that.
Yes.
I've tried to develop a model for dating. It has not necessarily worked yet. But I developed different models, right? And one of the models that I developed under the School of Superpowers, which we will talk about, is I created a model to help people find their purpose. But it's a mathematical model. Now, of course, when you do my program, you're not going to think it's a mathematical process, but it is. It's a building block, systematic approach of creating I created a function. So it's really, it helps you find your purpose. And that's one of the things that I did. That was the first things I did with my actuarial skills when it comes to solving social problems. And it's not the last, because this is my mission now, is to solve social problems.
So now let's stay in Canada. How was life in Canada when you arrived? Prior to school, prior to everything, how was that?
So I'm by myself, 17, in an apartment. And the building had a bunch of friends that had different apartments within that building. So it was a ton of partying up until the point. And I remember 2 weeks in.
Let's stay in partying modes.
You want to talk about the party?
I want a story here. How was that? Not having a parent and a social life.
Well, you would be surprised by Anne Christie. First of all, I'm a geek. Understand that. In my apartment, I did not even have a TV. Not because I couldn't afford it, because I didn't need it. It was always books and chill. I didn't need anything. I was very, very simple. So 2 weeks in, I see parties in my house. People I don't know doing drugs, partying. And one of my friends came to me. He says, there's two paths. Either you party or you win. I said, well, clearly I'm here to win. Throughout my entire journey in the university, I never went out. I mean, hardly. I was all about school. And I was very, very, very focused. But I became depressed. At 20, I graduate. What do I do with my life?
What's next?
I was too young to decide on anything. My mom said, hey, take a few years off. You're young. Travel. I was like, no, I need to win. I need to get ahead.
What
Let
does
me find a
winning
job.
look like?
What winning
At
looks
that
like? Winning looks like wearing the nice suit and walking into an office, Lucida. That's what winning was. Winning was having the best suit, the best outfit, the best perfume, looking great, sitting behind the desk. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm there. So these are the concepts I had. So completely misguided.
Because your environment, you become the product of your environment.
I didn't have people who had my level of ambition at that time, because I was extreme. You know, one of my friends, I said to him the other day, I said to him, my biggest fear is a fear of being ordinary. And I didn't know. I didn't want to say that online.
You know,
but
this
I'm going
is
to
me
say
too.
It. Okay, I'm afraid of being ordinary, but what it forces us to do is to appreciate being ordinary. So I'm appreciating my ordinariness now, because now I don't know who I am. I'm not an actuary. I mean, I am, but I'm not. I'm not a corporate person anymore. I'm trying to do business, and I'm trying to do all these things. And it's extremely, extremely nerve-wracking for me to be in a space where I cannot define myself. Remember, this is the girl who thought that being an actuary, that
identity, that was
my
identity
was tied to those things. And now I'm redefining what is value, what is success. But now, give me credit. I moved away from that mindset throughout my 30s, I would say. Yes. And that's why I became so unhappy.
We become humble.
I got humble real quick. I had a son. So I became a little bit more, like I was more connected with myself to say, okay, I'm still not feeling good. I'm getting promoted at work. I would actually refuse promotions because I was like, I don't want to be like y'all. I don't want to do what y'all are doing. What's my future what kind of future can I have? Because now I don't want to be that guy in the suit, that girl in the suit, coming in this freezing cold building for 8 hours a day. I don't want to be that person. But who can I be and still be proud of it?
Did you find that?
I'm working on it. I mean, I have. For the most part, I have. Because I truly believe that we are here to fulfill our soul's purpose. I know what my soul's purpose is. So I'm just connecting with opportunities to make sure that it's seen and that I can impact the world in the way that I want.
So that's your soul purpose now.
My soul's purpose is to contribute to humanity's evolution. Now, I think it's everybody's purpose, but in some way or shape or form. But me, I'm actively participating in humanity's evolution.
For somebody that doesn't understand what it's
to help people overcome the things that hold them back. Like, it's difficult, you see someone who deals with anger, okay? And their anger has destroyed people and things around their lives. But they say, I'm like that. I've been like that. And they stay in that cycle of toxicity, and they're not able to overstand. I don't like to say understand. Overstand. To understand that this is a human, earthly thing that is happening, and that you need to go beyond that. It's not to reject it, not to judge it, but to go beyond that and become bigger. And so that's my job, is to help people see that so they can evolve. You're not better, I'm not better, nobody is better. Everybody's on their journeys, and everybody has something to overcome. And so I want to be that person there, because again, I'm the girl who wants to be happy. So I'm doing something that you're going to be happy. You know, you're going to be, so many people in my life call me and say, oh my God, you helped me so much. Oh my God, what you said changed me. That's the person I want to be. You come to me and you find freedom.
Before we get there, because I know this side of you, right? But now there's parties, there's drugs, because, you know, I like to stay, because it's the stories for me. It's one-on-one. We got to stay with the stories.
You want to know my party time?
I want to know your party times, any boyfriends, what was life like?
Go there? Okay.
I want, because you're 20, because
so
everybody
I'm 20,
comes here.
Now I've graduated. Now my life is open. Now I start partying. I party every single weekend. Every single weekend I have to be out. And I was dating at the time one of the biggest promoters in Atlanta.
So you're in Atlanta now?
No, sorry, not Atlanta.
I'm
talking about Montreal.
Okay.
So I'm dating one of the biggest promoters in Montreal.
Okay.
We're not saying the
We
name.
know who you are.
Yes. And that relationship propelled my social life, because I was out all the time. My boyfriend is throwing big parties. He even had John Legend come.
Oh my God, to Montreal.
So he's that guy.
I'm gonna go research.
Yeah. And he had all these big artists come. You know, he was very serious.
As a woman at that age, how do you feel? Because I remember being on my 20s and I was dating like big shots, right? And my head got big, right? I feel like I was on top of the world. Were you somewhat like that?
All, I still feel like I'm on top of the world. No, but really, no, I wouldn't say that for me. I think one of the things that was very profound in me since I was young is I am very wise. My wisdom is generally what dictates my actions. As much as I'm, I am wise. So I always went
You're
beyond.
more mature than what
Definitely
people
more
assume to be.
So I never got
and
into that.
And that's what fragile people with people like us.
Exactly.
When they meet us,
I'm not
we're so
about-
jovial,
Yeah.
right? We're so outgoing, funny. However, have a conversation with us and you're like, oh, she's not just that hairhead, right? Like they usually say to people. We can act like that.
We can. And I love acting like that. That's actually why I love the partying, because I have a space where I can just be myself. If you
Yes.
see me at a party and I'm really letting myself loose.
I have a story for you. When
Tell
I
me.
first moved to Atlanta, because I moved and I was in my 20s. And I'm not used to Haitian parties at that time, because I was dating, you know, different nationalities at that time. So Haitians events was not something that I was big on, right? So I remember going to an event here and I started dancing. You know, the Jamaican style dancing?
Oh, yeah.
Piqué Tetomba.
I
So
can see
I'm dancing, and one of my client was an older guy.
He saw you?
No, he called me. I've been calling him Papi then. Papi, if you're watching, you changed my life and you made me the person that I am today. And I'm sorry for your loss. I know you lost your mom. I'm sorry for your loss. I pray that, you know, you take solace, you know. But Papi pulled me and Papi said, I said, what is it? He said, we don't do this. I was like, what do you mean? I'm at a party. I'm dancing. He said, you a businesswoman. And at that moment, I had to change the way I come out now. Now I had to be the suited girl, this girl, because our community doesn't allow us to be free. Doesn't allow us to, you know, to show that side of us.
This is so
and I think that's so unfair.
You know, this is so
sometimes.
interesting that you're saying that. I went to the Georgia Haitian Chamber of Commerce event this week, and I'm sure you've heard of Lydia Piero, if you've met her.
Yes.
And that's her thing, right? She's a corporate socialite, but she had an opportunity to explain what she does. And that's exactly what she does. Allowing people who are suited up, having an opportunity to still have fun in a way that does not hurt your brand, but you can actually still be loose
a
and
human.
free. Because what happened with me is, because of my desire, like I have this really wild side of me, it requires me to step away from that environment and go somewhere where nobody knows me, so I can just be crazy.
I did that for 20 years. And it's now I'm like,
at one point, can we not reconcile those two things
Yes.
and be, right? And I think that's where I'm going right now, because I broke the chains of corporate world and I'm redefining my own life, and I want to be able to be free, but not for myself. I want to show people that they can be free.
A role model.
So yes, because if I don't do that, we're still gonna find people coming to a party, sitting like this, feeling. Nobody cares about you. First of all, really, you think people are looking? They're not.
And that's the truth to life,
That's
right?
the truth.
We have this thing in our head that this person is doing this person is talking about me, but it's because you saying it to yourself. You know, I had to overcome all that fear and say, Lucida, it's not about them. It's about you.
It's about you.
How do you feel about you?
Yeah.
How do you show up for you?
And that's difficult as Haitian women, as Black women. It is very difficult. In my corporate world, I was very aware of the outfits that I could wear and the ones that I couldn't. My girl, the girl that was sitting right next to me in the cubicle, she would wear those tiny short things. They looked cute to me, but I would never dare wearing that, because if I did, I would be sexualized.
Yes.
And it's difficult for Black women to truly be out there. The more you are growing as a businesswoman, the more it's easy for them. It
To
seems
break you down.
It seems easy for them to break you down. Yes.
Yeah, because you're
like
you like the
twerk.
easier
but
target.
You see what you just said, and I saw Jessie Wu said something similar. One twerk can destroy your career. One bad twerk can destroy your career. But that's not going to happen for a man.
But now let's focus on you. Let's take it back to you.
Let's not be political.
It's all about you.
Me.
So now we're in Montreal. We're living our lives. So we're dancing.
We're partying. I'm studying to become an actuary. I'm studying. I'm working. I'm partying. That was my life. And that's the depression creeping in more and more and more, because this was not a life that was aligned with my true self. When my boyfriend and I at the time, we had the opportunity, I convinced him, say, hey, let's move, let's leave. Nobody understood why I was leaving. All my friends were there. Like I knew too many people to leave and go somewhere where I knew no one. Actually, I wanted to go to Tampa. Tampa was a place where I knew no one. Finally, I ended up coming to Atlanta because the job I was with is in the same job that I had.
So when did you come to Atlanta?
In 2010.
Okay.
In 2010, so in 2000, I went to Montreal. In 2010, I left. In 2010, I moved here with my boyfriend at the time, the promoter, right? We went.
So the promoter is still here?
No, he left.
Okay.
He left, and now he's married and he's living his own life.
Happy for you, sir.
And he has a beautiful family. Yes. But with him, I was able to have that journey of coming to Atlanta, and that's really when things really shifted, because I needed a space to redefine myself in 2010. I said, no friends. People would come to me, hey, do you want to hang out? I said, no, I'm not taking any new friends. Legit, I would say that. I'm not trying to, because I was not good at managing friendships.
Okay.
I went to therapy for that.
Wow.
Because I did not have good boundaries and my friends know that. They know I struggle with, even though they're my closest friends, I had a hard time managing boundaries, and that kept me unhappy.
What does that look like?
It looks like Joe, my friend. I could be 6 hours on the phone with her every single day. That's not healthy, right? Or I'm all into everybody's business. I'm fixing every single person's problems, and I'm completely disconnected with my own. So I'm struggling and I'm suffering, but I'm not even able to connect with how I feel. I became this person. I was a people pleaser. I was a people pleaser.
So you needed to read this book, Disease to Please.
Probably. That probably would help me.
Thank you, Father Guillaume, for sharing that book with me. It's such a great book.
Yeah. And I had to
really
recover.
changes.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the word boundary was. Like the first time a therapist said that to me in a chair. And at that time, on top of all those boundary issues, I got into another relationship in Atlanta that destroyed me.
Oh, wow.
But I was like, how come? I'm such a good person. Why was that happening to me? And the therapist said something about boundaries. And she says, and I said, oh my God, she wants me to be closed off. That's how little I knew about boundaries. Now, fast forward, I understand. I overstand what it was. And I needed to go through those things to really become, because the life I had in Haiti was fantasy. It was pure fantasy. I was living in a bubble in Haiti. I did not. I never was confronted with negative feelings because my family coddled us a lot. I'm telling you, we were living in a community. It was only your friends and family.
You were sheltered.
We were not even allowed to go out with friends. We were doing things with ourselves, with each other. So I had a fake idea that the world was that. I didn't know that people could be different, that people had different value systems, and that was such a shock for me.
People can surprise you
a lot. So now I'm more balanced.
More aware.
Yes. No, I see them coming a mile away. I see the BS coming.
Ooh, so now you're arriving at Atlanta. So you're a mother. How's life as a mother?
Oof. So I got to Atlanta. The job was going. And when I didn't ever think I was going to be a mother. But at that time, I was not in a great relationship. Now, the father of my child and I, we have a great relationship. We're not together, but we have a great relationship. But at the time, this is a toxic relationship, not because only of him, but also because of me. Yeah, I recognized that I needed to do some changes. But I said I want to have my child anyway, even though I knew I was bringing him into a situation that was not traditionally healthy. But that forced me. 2 years later, I broke up. I stopped that relationship, and I fully focused on my son and my life and myself. And that's really where things started rebuilding. I rebuilt my self-esteem. I rebuilt my value system, which is one thing that I didn't realize. I would embody your value system. So if I'm next to you, it's Lucita's value system. If I'm with this person, so now I define my own value systems, and I don't make excuses for it anymore.
Very good.
My son became this project. Oh my God. I didn't realize how much I was going to love being a mom, but the top 5 things I've done for myself, being a mom is one of them. I enjoy him. I enjoy being, I'm not saying it's easy. I still don't like to clean. I still don't like to do chores. I still don't, certain things I don't like, but the process of being a mother is fantastic for me.
If you had something to say to your son, what would it be now?
I would be like, you can do anything that you want, and I will be there to support you. I'm your ride or die. Anything you have, the first person you call is me, because I will always be there and I will never judge you.
Continue. He's going to take that.
He will. And so now this is kind of where I am, right? Where there's no more corporate world, redefining myself, continuously redefining myself, grazing a 10-year-old now, dating, right?
Ooh.
Getting into relationships.
How's dating in Atlanta?
I think dating is great. I think it depends on who you are.
It's great for you, huh?
No, I think it's great for anyone. I think it's a matter of how, the things that you say truly manifest.
Yes.
So if I keep saying, oh, all men are dogs, well, you will meet a lot of dogs.
Ooh.
That's it. Or you say, oh, dating is so hard. The reality of it is, one of the things that one of my therapists said to me, do not be afraid to date. Because you're going to meet 99 before you meet the one person. Yeah. So, of course, it's filled with failures. It's like it's like playing the roulette. It's like playing the lotto. Most of the time you lose, but that's part of it. Once you understand that and you develop detachment, which is something that I work on very regularly, even though I'm dating right now, I practice detachment. Detachment allows you to be with yourself and be okay with yourself. Because at the end of the day, the only person you have is yourself. Not to say that you cannot be sad if a relationship ends, or you cannot be disappointed that a relationship did not work out in the way that you want. But once you develop who you are and you're continuously loving yourself, you always have something to fall back on. And for me, it's my life and my home and what I built and the friends that I have and the people that I impact. That's what makes me who I am. So even if, that's why I tell people in dating, even if the relationship doesn't work, use it as a learning curve to learn yourself and practice and continue moving forward. But I had the idea, as soon as I meet that guy, that must be the guy. And then that's going to be the guy. I have a work, but it's not the case. You can meet somebody and it's great, but it doesn't work out. And it's okay. And you don't need to blame no one.
The way I look at it is live in the moment.
Yes, live
in the moment for me.
Well, so how is that? How is dating, Lucita, in Atlanta?
Great.
It's great?
It's great. It's great. You know, you meet somebody, you date them for the time being, for what it is. Because it's, you know, if you're no longer here today, At least you had a great meal, you had a great conversation, you met somebody else, you saw somebody else's principles, and then it kind of help you to know the next one that you're going to meet, what you like, what you don't like.
But let me ask you a question. Would you get married again?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes.
So it means you're ready to commit.
Yes.
You're ready to commit
Well,
and to
not
be all in.
commit. You know, if I find the right person, that person going to know what I'm looking for so that we can have a partnership. So
yes,
it's not
a partner. Yeah.
It's
totally.
not those relationships that I see.
Yeah.
My partner, like the people that I hope they don't mind mentioning them, is my best friend. I love their marriage. Their marriage is very open. They're not worried about who this, do that, do that. She cares for him when she needs to care for him. He does his own thing, but yet they love each other their own way. I want somebody to know me wholly that way, to know that I got your back, you got my back. I'm here. You could see me talking to 100 guys, just guys.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of male friends around me, but I want them to understand that you're the king.
Yeah.
You're the guy I'm going home with. You know, so it's like you're my partner. So,
and maybe I know you didn't ask me that question, but I'm the School of Superpowers, so I will give advice anyway. I think another thing too that we need to learn to redefine for ourselves is what is important for us in a relationship.
Correct.
Accept that it changes. What was important for me in a relationship when I was 20 is not
it's
the
no
same.
longer that. It's no longer that.
For me, I recognize, but there's always an underlying theme that you have to uncover. And I recognize that for me, and please do that exercise for yourself. Look at all your relationships. There's one thing that you were always seeking that either hurt you or blessed you. For me, it was safety. I'm always looking for safety in a relationship. But I got into relationships with men because they loved me more than I loved them, because that was considered safe for me. But that's the wrong thing to do. wrong thing to do. You want to love the person that you're with. Or safety. I mean, I've never done that, but I know women have done that. Oh, let me be with him for his money. That's another form of I'm looking for safety, but let me do that. But when you do that, you're not only are you destroying yourself, you're destroying the person.
But again, whenever that happens, it's because the person still have not identified themselves.
Exactly. So they have not really understood.
They have not done the work.
They have not done the
work.
The
work that you and I have done to ourselves is to identify what makes you happy, what you will tolerate, and what will you not tolerate.
Exactly.
So whenever a man come into your life, they know me. They know I'm very strong. I'll tell you what like it is. I will share my opinion with you. I love open communications. And then after that, we can go and cuddle.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, and after that, we're good.
But
because
you have to be able
to express. Because when you don't do that, you cause stress and you cause problem in your life.
And in a relationship.
Yeah. Because you holding so much inside, by the time you're ready to share, it's too late.
So that's why I say, if you're in a relationship and you're not able to express yourself, take a pause. Not to say leave the person, but understand that it is necessary for you to be able to express yourself. And if you're not able to do that, then maybe you need to have a conversation with that person. And if you're able to overcome, that's when you know it's real, because you're able to share something authentic about yourself.
But remember, and we're one-on-one, so let's
talk about me. This is not the School of Superpowers. The School of Superpowers. Every Wednesday you can come watch me on Facebook, but this is about me today. I have a hard time talking about me. I have a hard time.
Let's stay there.
Okay, tell me.
So now you started working here. So how was your career? Why did you leave corporate America?
Okay, my career was actually doing pretty well. So very, very easy. Like I never had to struggle for work. I started with a company in Montreal called Mercer, which transferred me here in Atlanta because it's a multinational organization. So I could transfer anywhere I wanted. I decided Atlanta. And I was progressing. But there was this part of me. I felt like I was half-assing a lot of things. There's a part of me that did not want to move forward. As much as I was in the job, I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Around that time, around in my 20s, mid-20s, I wanted to quit corporate America. I was like, man, this is not it. This is not it. And I remember my colleague and friend at the time, she said, no, this is life. Like, you just deal with it. Like, again, I did not have my own value system, so I just embodied hers. Because that was acceptable for her. That was her path, not mine. But then little did I know, I said, maybe she's right. I stayed for another 10 years.
Wow.
But my career is growing. I'm getting promoted. I'm making more money. And the money. I had no money problems. I was making enough money to take care of myself. I bought myself a house. I had everything I needed, really. I didn't even need child support. Like, I was okay.
Because we were good.
And then I destroyed all that.
I wouldn't call it destroyed.
Oh, my God. Sometimes I wish I had that paycheck, okay? Sometimes I wish it came.
You can't say you destroyed it.
I mean, but
you wanted to experience something else.
I needed to.
Yeah.
My soul was crying. Mm-hmm. You know what I felt? And people, if you're feeling the same way, this is your moment. I felt like if I stayed at that job, I would start getting sick physically. I felt it. I felt like I was in a trap. Clearly, I was not happy. I was pretending like I was. I was doing all the things possible to swallow it and ingest it. It was not working. I did everything I could to stay. And again, I had a great review. I mean, I was good. I mean, I had some great clients I was working with. My clients loved me. I think, if anything, that's what I loved about my job, is that my clients loved me. And they would call me even when I was not needed, right?
Awesome.
So I knew that I was doing good in how I was being a consultant. And I said, okay, well, I have skills. If they can pay me all this money to do this job, I should be able to make. That's what convinced me to quit.
To go back
if they could pay me this for this that I'm doing, I should be able to generate 10 times more for myself. And if I'm spending 60 hours a week on their projects, what if I spent 60 hours on myself? What would that look like? And that's what I've been doing since. I work all the time.
So tell me about your job. Tell us about it.
So
what was your first job in America? That was
that same job.
That same job.
That same job. So I never did anything that was. I always. Okay.
You're just the lucky girl.
I know. I never.
You didn't go
retail,
to the McDonald's. You didn't go to the.
Actually, okay, low key. I was thinking about it yesterday. I said, should I find a job at Target and get some things half off? Like I never had that experience of working retail, working at a restaurant, or. Although I'm not good, because my boyfriend at the time in Montreal, he put me in a bar one time that did not work out well for anyone, because I was partying the whole night. I was giving free shots.
You were socializing.
I was socializing.
Hey.
So maybe I cannot be a server with alcohol involved. But I never had that experience. And I envied people who had it. Mm-hmm. You know, people said, oh, I had this job. I said, how many jobs did you ever have? Me, I've only had one job in my whole life.
Wow.
Same job.
Only on one-on-one.
Only. Same job.
Wow.
My whole life. And so now, and Christie is in the vastness of the universe.
Looking for.
And it's scary, but I have this unshakable faith in myself, but not myself, in what God put inside of me. He put it clearly. It's undeniable. So now my confidence is I heard somebody say Godfidence. My Godfidence is real.
Godfidence, I like that.
But my fears are there and present every single day. I have to deal with fear and anxiety of, did you make the right choice? And I look at my son and I'm like, man, am I failing him? So a lot of the times I battle with feeling like a failure. A lot of times I'm like, did I do like what? But I'm in the fire. I'm in the transformation. And then so I have to continue moving forward. Maybe next year when I'm on one-on-one again, I'll be able to tell you a success story.
So now, because we've been chatting.
Yeah.
It's been great. So what is the definition of success now that you're in that fear moment where you are in life? Do you still think of success? What is that to you?
For me, success is being able to fulfill your soul's purpose in this earth. Whatever you do, whoever you are, however much money you have, how many girlfriends, boyfriends you have, your soul will never be at peace until you give it what it needs. So all the stuff about depression, about anger, about dissatisfaction, about, oh my God, I'm lost. That's what I believe. That's what the School of Superpowers believes. Your soul will never be at peace until you give it what it needs. So my definition of success is allowing a space for my soul to be and to show itself. And then I know what it is. I know what my purpose is in this life. And I think purpose can evolve with people in time. But right now, today, I'm clear about what my purpose is. So there's some things I'm really clear on and some other things I'm still working through.
I love watching your show. You drop so much knowledge in that show. Do you have to get prepared for that? Because
not really.
It's like, is it astrology? What
no,
is it?
Not really. Because the School of Superpowers?
No. like sometimes you talk about the earth, rocks, and we aligning with our lives, and you're like, we in the moment, and me who doesn't know any of these things, I'm like, what are you saying? When you're telling us this stuff that we have to pay attention to, like the moon, it's going to be a full moon, because we would be on conversation. You're like, pay attention, it's going to be a full moon. What are you saying? What does this mean?
Here's my superpower, okay? I think language, Creole, French, English, there's no good or bad language. It's just language that was created to be communicated to specific people. To me, religion is the same. I know some people are going to hate me for it. Christianity is the only one, but I don't believe that. I believe that different religions were created to teach the same thing, just to different groups of people who have different experiences. So when I communicate with people, I make an effort. If I know that you are into astrology, I can say the same thing I want to say to you by utilizing astrology. Like I have a coach. My coach, he's into the Enneagram. I don't know if you ever, the Enneagram is a personality thing that they use a lot in the corporate world to help leaders deal with their people, understand human interaction, okay? Among other things. But when I speak to my Enneagram coach, because I know he's not into astrology, I use the Enneagram concept. It's a language to communicate what I want to communicate. If you're not into the Enneagram, you're not into astrology, I can speak to you like a fifth grader. Or like a third grader. So to me, everything I say is the same thing. It depends on the audience, right? So when I say things are aligning, I can just ask you, what has been different in your life lately? Where have you been struggling and resisting? You need to let go and embrace it. Or I could tell you that the planets are forcing you to do that, right? Because that's really what's actually happening.
Okay, the planet is forcing me to do that.
So it's really a language, but really, I'm really into astrology more and more, and I might even push it to the next level.
Is that because of your geek life style?
No, because I truly believe that this is, how you have a birth certificate? The universe gives you a birth certificate when you are born. All these things come from the universe, comes from God. Things are you're not just there. You are a vessel. We are truly all connected. We're part of the same thing. We're the same matter. We just are manifested in this world in a different way. So if I'm speaking at that level, I can speak and say it's really because of the universe that we are the way we are. But if somebody is not believing those things and is not there, I can find a different way to help you see what's happening in your life and the things that need to change, right? I do a lot of astrology consultation for my friends and my family, right?
I don't know when I'm going to get my consultation, please. I'm ready for mine.
Weekends is my time. 1 hour consultation. I run your birth chart because your birth chart is what the universe is, the universe's birth certificate for you. But we care about what the doctor said on the. But when you look at the universe, in the birth chart that the universe gives you, it's simply where were the planets when you were born.
Wow.
It's like you have light. You see how we're sitting here, we have lights coming at us. If we go to the other room, the lights are different. It has a different impact, a different vision. That's what the planets do. So you were born at a specific point in time where the energies were a certain way. These energies affect you. If the cell phone can give us cancer, we don't think that the planets can affect us? A small cell phone and these huge planets, the moon, the sun, that's right there. God gave us, I always say God gave us one sun. God gave us one sun, S-U-N. That's the sun that I believe God gave us. Sorry, Christians, but that's the sun. God shows us, but we don't want to believe, right? Because we don't want to understand the planets. He says, okay, let me give you the Bible. Okay, let me give you this. Let me give you that. Let me give you all the things so you can understand that one fundamental concept, which is what? Love. When we understand love, everything breaks apart because we are all the same. But I know it's difficult sometimes for people to understand when you've lived so much of your life separated, thinking you're separate from the world, but you are truly the same because there's not one thing that's going through Lucida that has not gone through another person. Why? Because the energy is out there. You did not create these energies. They're just going through you and going through someone else. And then so that's why the things we say matter because I attract certain energies. All men are dogs. Well, I'm going to find a lot of dogs, right? Or all black men are this or white girls are that. The moment you say those things.
Stop labeling and start living.
They become real.
So we're going to start living. And, before we leave, I want to say thank you again for coming.
Yes.
Our time is up. What would you like to tell our one-on-one people? how would you like to leave? What, leaving us today, what would you like them to know?
What I would like for people to know, it's okay to be real. It's okay to be human, because part of being human is being imperfect. And I think for me, that's one of the hardest things for, some people say I'm not perfectionist, but really you're struggling to looking good. Everybody struggles. They want to look good, either physically, either intellectually, either with what they have. Mm-hmm. But if you can go beyond that, I'm not to say enjoy yourself. I love outfits and looking good, but go beyond that. So you can understand, so we can actually evolve as a society. Try to go beyond the general things that are going on in your life: anger, jealousy, frustration. I tell people, jealousy is the other side of the coin for admiration. Admiration and jealousy are the same. It's just another side of the coin. Just like love and hate.
Everything in life is two.
It's two. Yep. It's the duality of things. So the moment that you're struggling with a negative feeling, understand that you can overcome it by looking at the other side of things and balancing it out. So, so I would tell people,
we're balancing it today.
I would tell people stay connected. Okay. Stay connected. I have a hard time doing that though, but stay connected.
Now, do you feel like we shared everything you would want your audience to know? Is there anything else you would like to share with them?
I need to come back next year to talk about other things, because I think I really wanted to touch on, some struggles, because I want people to see talking about struggles, people see me and they think, oh, sure, life is so great. But I want people to see that we all go through the same things. Yes, I'm confident, very confident, but I also have insecurities. They may not manifest in the way that Lucita's insecurities are manifesting, or this person's, but I have a ton of insecurities in relationships with men, in friendships, in career. I deal with those things as well, but we all deal with those things. Don't believe anyone who tells you they don't have fear, they don't have anger, it means they don't know themselves. And you need to be afraid of people like that, by the way. Be afraid of people who tell you that everything is perfect. Either they don't know, they're lying to you, they're lying to themselves. At least if they're lying to you is better, but if they're lying to themselves, it's even worse.
More dangerous.
It's more dangerous. So I would say just try to be real, and let's continue elevating and supporting and encouraging each other. When you criticize someone, I'm not to tell people don't criticize, but your criticism simply tells you that you need to fix something in yourself. Or look at Lucita and what she's wearing, probably because I like the outfit. So maybe just say you like the outfit, overcome those things, but without judging yourself for the fact that you did feel that jealousy. You did feel that discomfort. So I would say embrace discomfort so we can move forward.
Well, on that note, enjoy discomfort so you can appreciate each other. So we want to say thank you to our guests for joining us. As she said, she want to come back next year. I look forward. This is her home. She welcome anytime. And thank you for all of you that was watching us. We'll see you guys next time.
Ciao.
You're tuned in to the one-on-one show with Dr. Lucita.
Welcome to the one-on-one show.
Communion is a special time to remember what Jesus has done for you. At Communion Elements, we offer communion with a difference. From prepackaged Holy Communion cups, water, wine or juice, and wafer, all sealed into a convenient single-serving container. Celebrate Christ's kingdom in a special way with Communion Elements as a church congregation, small group, or family devotion. So, why Communion Elements? Our plastic containers or cups are high quality and 100% recyclable. Both elements, the wafer and water, grape juice or wine, are easily prepared and served conveniently and all the time. These elements are totally safe, sustainable, and affordable. In faith, let's share the body of Christ by breaking the bread and solidify the Holy Covenant with the blood of Jesus, courtesy of communion elements. Order our fresh and hygienically prepared communion elements today via our website. You can as well call or WhatsApp us through 0799 988 371. Communion elements. Communion with a difference.
You're tuned in to the one-on-one show with Dr. Lucita.
Pose, pas fait tête chaud. Ou t'as cherché un compagnie sérieux pour faire le taxe pour là, dans des postes tout hier, et bien choix par l'autre côté. Lucita Accounting Firm. Nous avons plus que 22 ans d'expérience dans seule location. Porte nous l'ouvrir depuis le fait 9 heures pour arriver 7 heures. Consultation nous gratis. Nous avons pilote service nous bas encore. Nous faisons taxe individuelle. Taxe pour moun qui a business. Nous faisons audit pour assurance taxe. Taxe consultation. Nos affaires taxe, docteur Lucita se mettre causé. Relais pour service taxe pour la Kounia et pour nous éduquer dans taxe. Pour joindre tout corps dans mes ARS sans manquer yon yota. Téléphone c'est 770 319 91 81. Adresse nous c'est Atlanta, Georgia.
You're tuned in to the one-on-one show with Dr. Lucita.
Welcome to the one-on-one show.